Hey there! We all know nature can be full of surprises. Sometimes it creates something beautiful, and other times it ruthlessly destroys it. Today, you're about to witness just how amazing Mother Nature can be, as our new compilation showcases some of the rarest moments. You've definitely never seen anything like this before, so let's get it on. A lightning strike hit one of the blades of the wind turbine. Within a few minutes, the turbine caught fire and soon collapsed into pieces. It's amazing what a single strike of lightning can do. In Guatemala, tourists pulled out their cameras at the perfect time. Check out the aftermath of the flood in Montana. See how easily the rushing water sweeps away the road surface, and even the trees standing nearby? Heavy precipitation hit one of the cities in Turkey, while downtown only saw large puddles. On the outskirts, streams overflowed their banks. You can see the aftermath yourself.
Mate!
You know the winds are serious when it can easily push a car around. Here's how Houston looked after the tropical storm. By the way, the driver of this military Hummer helped people thanks to his vehicle being so tough. While getting the slopes ready for opening, the ski resort workers were surprised by a large avalanche.
Whoa.
People in a little Indian town caught a landslide on video. Luckily, no one was on the road at that time.
इतना खतरनाक खौफनाक नज़ारा ये देखिए।
At first glance, it might seem like just a regular weather phenomenon. Cumulus clouds are pretty common, but there's something so enjoyable about watching them. When checking the weather report for the imminent hailstorm, they likely didn't anticipate it being so severe. On the bright side, it's been a lucrative time for glaciers. Check out how a massive flood in an Indian state completely washed out a big stone bridge. They filmed the tornado thinking it probably wouldn't head their way, but then they got a closer look at the powerful twister. To go outside. Buildings' lower levels were flooded, and cars were carried away by powerful streams. Fortunately, there were no casualties. You probably won't get to witness a volcano eruption up close, so enjoy these mesmerizing shots captured in Iceland. A Saudi Arabian driver filmed a powerful dust storm. Definitely not the kind of thing you want to see on your commute back home from work.
Spingere, cavalli. Spingere. Guarda che là c'è l'acqua sotto.
And the landscape on this slope has forever changed. This guy captures not just the bursting of a dam, but also the powerful stream of water sweeping away his car and then his friend's house. You wouldn't wish that on anyone.
Поплыла моя машина.
Look at the flood caused by heavy rains in the mountains. San Sebastian is famous for its strong tides, so people aren't in a hurry to run far from the shore. Instead, they purposely come to watch the huge waves and cool off for a bit. Ruang is a small island in Indonesia, covering just about 4 by 5 kilometers. Most of its space is taken up by a volcano, which recently decided to remind everyone of its existence. Once the residents received alerts about the eruption, they promptly evacuated and watched from neighboring islands. So, when choosing where to live, it's good to remember, a dormant volcano might wake up someday.
Jam 8.30 kembali. Menyemburkan asap.
Mud volcanoes might not appear as threatening as typical volcanoes, but don't be fooled. The movement of mud can escalate into a full-blown eruption, and the mud itself can spread over a large area. It's almost like what went down in this village in Myanmar. Check out the neighboring house, and it's all going down right near people. Imagine the roller coaster of emotions these guys went through, from fear to awe. People were so fascinated by the powerful wind that they forgot to keep an eye on their belongings and nearly ended up losing their luggage. Two states simultaneously witnessed a scene where several devastating tornadoes spread across an area spanning over 1,200 kilometers. But folks in Iowa and Nebraska seemed accustomed to such whims of nature. Though frightened, people didn't miss the chance to watch large tornadoes raging not far from them.
Winds are howling. I'll stand on my porch and watch it. They're doing a good job. That sucker's impressed. Wow. She got some power, boys. Hope everybody's gonna be all right headed northeast, because that sucker's moving.
Sigue cambiando. Mira los rayos.
These clouds look like they were drawn by a 3D artist.
¿A dónde? Sí. No digas nada que estoy grabando. Sí, yo vi algo, sí. Miren el techo arriba. Esto es lo que tenemos arriba.
sailors say no camera can capture the true scale of waves. So go ahead and multiply what you see by 10.
Che spettacolo! Una cosa incredibile! L'iceberg che si gira!
Even if you don't speak Italian, it's easy to imagine the emotions he felt when he saw the iceberg flip right in front of him.
Questo si inabissa, tu vedrai. Guarda come sta venendo su. Sta ritrovando le linee di galleggiamento, i punti di equilibrio.
It's not often you see hailstorms where icy balls the size of small baseballs come raining down from the sky, and it's hard to imagine the damage they can cause until you experience it firsthand. This guy didn't have much luck driving in that kind of weather. The truck driver made the right call. Nobody wants to be on the road when there's a landslide. Italy isn't always sunny and calm. Sometimes it can be quite the opposite. It doesn't happen often, but people were lucky enough to witness huge waves on the Ligurian coast.
Yeah.
It's important not to underestimate avalanches. Even though this one doesn't move as fast, it can still cause significant damage. The Passage du Gois is such a unique spot. This road connects one of the islands to the mainland of France. But here's the kicker. It's only accessible for a few hours each day because the rest of the time, it's submerged underwater. Sometimes nature creates real magic. The slow motion footage of lightning strikes is incredibly stunning. It's like nature is painting directly onto the clouds. It might seem odd, but this is how buzzards dry and warm up their feathers for better flight. Look at that huge crowd of gray seals chilling out on the beach. Who knew relaxation wasn't just a human thing? Those cartoon-like blue jellyfish might seem cute, but they can actually be pretty dangerous. They have venom that can harm people, although it's not usually life-threatening. Still, it's best to keep an eye on them from the shore. Bird murmurations look like a dance. In this small Swiss commune, there are only about 534 people. So when something like this happens, everyone knows about it within an hour. Tourists find it thrilling, but think about those who have to listen to the sound of water non-stop from their bedroom window. In India, there's this amazing place where two rivers come together. On the left side, there's a river with really clean water, and on the right side, there's one with dirty water. When they merge, they form a third river known as Ganges. Guys, it's time to start packing up and head further away from the beach and that water spout.
This is nuts. Can't see.
We don't think this guy should go anywhere. Even if he wants to, he'll have to wait a couple of days. Nope, it's not just chunks of ice falling off the roof. It's hail. Even the camera guy couldn't believe his eyes. Looks like the beginning of one of those end-of-the-world movies.
Опоздали, блин. Солнце пили вообще отвар. Снимай.
There was a mud volcano eruption not far from the shore out at sea.
Грязь, да, это? Даже каждый год. Это каждый год поезжает. Помыли, называется. А теперь? Пипец.
Anyone would be shocked to see something like that so close to shore.
Это кто-то.
Residents of these Canadian islands don't often get the chance to witness something like this. Luckily, they managed to capture the rare moment when an iceberg broke apart. It looks like a scene from a movie, but it's actually a real halo that residents of a Chinese city were lucky enough to see. The cameraman captured some awesome footage on the avalanche. He was lucky to be on the opposite side of the shore, because if it weren't for the lake, that avalanche would have definitely reached him. really brave to go outside during such a storm.
Ay, 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 mira. Estos son. Ay, parece un pelotero, ¿viste?
On the beach, a woman came across a surprising scene.
Estos son los caracoles.
Thousands of sea snail eggs.
La mugre, por supuesto, obviamente. Sí, agregado valor del hombre es esto. Pero agregado, mira, mira, mira. Mira, mira lo que es.
The Northern Lights is one of the most stunning natural phenomena. It's hard to believe nature can create something like that.
We are 25, 30 meters.
Tourists were peacefully observing bears in their natural habitat when suddenly... Thankfully, the experienced guide had been prepared for the attack ahead of time. But after that, it was clear that everyone in the group had gained a few more grey hairs. Wow, that is some impressive strength. I think this is a good enough reason to tie up the boat and never get close to the water again. Just like that, without even breaking a sweat, he managed to clear the path for his kin. The mountain lion clearly wasn't expecting visitors at this time.
Oh God.
Police.
The poor animal is trying to eat, and this crazy psychopath. Oh my God! Look at this! Look at it! No, mom, what's going on?
Somebody's clearly not okay with being filmed without permission. It seems that tiger got a bit bored of the calm walk, so he decided to give people an unforgettable adrenaline rush.
$38万点赞，不是，给你们报告。
He couldn't manage to film a proper video with those troublemakers around.
That just came out of the bush. I wish I was videoing that.
Do you think llamas are amusing and cute? think again. I can't believe that after that she's still up for taking a couple of close-up shots of the buffalo.
Should have had a picture of us doing that.
He is not happy.
That 1 foot hurts.
I'm standing behind my board.
I doubt it can really protect you, buddy.
His foot hurts.
Fucking Jesus.
This dog decided that attacking someone who is prepared for it doesn't make sense.
No! No! Nigga, what the
Would you just look out your window?
Looks like Bambi's fallen in with a bad crowd. How else can we explain his wild behavior? While these guys were lucky enough to escape from the raging yak, these ones will have to call their insurance company after their encounter.
Holy smokes. Holy
Taking a walk in the Florida woods is quite an adventure.
wow. That was not.
Before you can enjoy crab meat, you must first defeat the crab in a fight.
Bueno, está armado el cangrejo. Dime. Oh, pero mira, me va a apoyar. Está armado.
Yeah, it's gonna choke us.
Yeah, better. Come get
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my.
I know.
Oh my God. Oh shit. Oh my God. Oh shit. Oh, where is it? Let's me, bro. Oh. Let's go. Come on, man.
She might not be the most harmless creature in the world, but she's definitely a good mum. Swimming with turtles isn't always like those pretty pictures you see on tourist brochures. This massive fish tried to take a bite of the diver's head. Unfortunately, it failed, but the guy got to see the fish up close like never before. Who would have thought that grouse are among the most aggressive birds in the world? Though you'd totally expect something like this from this bird.
He's about 10 metres away. Flying fox.
The guy thought naively that the boar needed his help, but it turned out that it was the animal's brilliant plan. Luckily, the guy was with his loyal dog at the time, and they both came out unharmed. They believed that chaining him up would keep them safe, but the elephant proved that nothing could stop him. Tourists often feel the urge to get closer to wild animals. Until the animal itself tries to get closer.
Does it run out? Oh boy. Oh boy. Hey, hey, hey.
It's absolutely mind-boggling how this guy manages to stay calm while being the target of an angry rhino.
Hey, Sergeant Dumont. Hey, 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 hey. Run! Hey, look, look, look. Hold on.
He was lucky the car didn't break down. They almost got a much closer look at the wild animal than they intended. If you're worried about wild animals coming onto your property, just get a fierce cat.
ตัวเล็กตัวนี้ตัวใหญ่ตัวเล็ก
มันก็ไม่ยอมแพ้นะเว้ย
It's a good thing there's sturdy glass between people and monkeys. It probably wouldn't be safe to be there during a big brawl without it.
มันสองฝ่ายนะเว้ยมันสองฝ่ายนะ
ไหล
Remember, life isn't exactly a Disney movie. This woman wasn't the only one looking to catch herself a fresh dinner. And perhaps the crocodile was hoping to snag something bigger than a fish. This camel is so fearless that it's not even afraid of armed guys. I'm pretty sure they weren't ready for this kind of rodeo. If this dog can do that when it's in a playful mood, imagine what it's capable of when it gets angry. The rooster had been preparing day and night for the moment when the cage would be opened. There's a reason why zoos use especially strong glass. Who else thought hippos were harmless? Even lionesses are afraid of them. They went on a safari for some exciting experiences and memories. Well, they definitely won't forget being chased by an enraged elephant. Proof that moose can look incredibly intimidating, even without their gigantic antlers. Friendly advice from those divers: if you ever decide to swim with sharks, it's better not to hold on to the cage. One of humanity's biggest misconceptions is that hippos are slow and non-aggressive.
There's a queen in the house.
What began as a simple stare down quickly escalated into a full-blown fight in a matter of seconds. This kangaroo absolutely hates paparazzi.
Now we've got an issue. Yeah.
You can't just chase a moose down the road and hope to get away with it.
I think I better start back. I can't back up that fast, can I? Oh, that's the first time for me.
Shit, you pissed him off.
Not every safari goes exactly as planned, and Furious Elephant definitely wasn't a part of the plan. You might expect a monkey to rob you, as people often talk about that, but you definitely don't expect it to smack you when you kindly try to offer it a treat. Yes, birds can be aggressive too. Especially when they're much larger than you. The guys headed out for a hunt, totally unaware that they would become the prey.
Also, die sind aber neugierig.
Here's why it's better not to go on a safari with open windows. Yeah, you got real lucky there, pal. Bikers are incredibly tough guys, but even they get scared when they run into an angry buffalo. Do you hear that thud? It's incredible that neither of them falls after that, and they just keep fighting as if nothing happened.
अन्य बड़े लस्सी जर
He shouldn't boldly approach the huge bird with a large beak. He won't be so confident anymore. So, it looks like the lions aren't the toughest animals around. Hippos are the real bosses.
This is so cool. It's the wrong day. Oh no. What's up, this one? Oh my god.
Oh, you see that?
The guys clearly didn't expect to see that. Neither did the bear, to be honest.
Ой, какой смотри, ласковый Ваня. Вот это друг.
The wild boar decided it was time for people to head home. When the dogs saw this, they knew that it was time to escort him back to the forest.
Hey, buddy. How you doing? You okay?
The cameramen clearly expected a more peaceful encounter with the deer. The moose managed to catch the man off guard, and he was completely unprepared for the sudden chase.
Get him!
Two males were casually figuring out who was cooler. But suddenly, a real alpha stepped in.
У нас тут олень. Перестань, трогать. Ходи. 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 Ходи.
It's a good thing the deer didn't actually manage to go around the tree, or the video wouldn't have been nearly as funny.
I wouldn't. They're too busy with each other, James. No, relax, James.
Witnessing a showdown between two elephants in the desert is an experience that will stick with onlookers for life.
Are they musting? They are. Look at them, yeah. You can see the tear, the juice running down the side of it.
We've all had our fair share of childhood blunders, haven't we? Granted, you probably didn't end up wedged in an exhaust pipe like this little guy. It took a few people working together to free the pup. But credit to him for keeping his cool during the rescue. Thanks to their patience, they were able to pull the pup out in no time. Let's hope he learns from this and avoids similar situations in the future. This touching video captures a moment where a human and an animal join forces to rescue a puppy. The little one accidentally fell into a puddle that was much deeper than it seemed. His scared mother cried out for help, and a human came to the rescue, joining forces with her. They soon managed to pull him out, but the poor thing had spent so much time in the water that they had to perform CPR on him. Thankfully, the story has a happy ending. Just a few minutes later, the grateful mother was watching over a healthy baby. Proof that even the most ferocious predators can find themselves in trouble and need help from humans. This bear was clearly trying to find something to eat in a coffee can, but ended up getting stuck. When people saw the predator walking around with a can on its head, they immediately called animal control. Rescuers promptly responded to the calls of the concerned citizens and headed to the scene. Of course, it took a little tranquilizer to calm the bear down, but they managed to remove the can successfully and took the bear back into the depths of the forest. It seems this giraffe misjudged the height of its jump and got its legs stuck on a fence. Unable to free itself, it needed some help. Thankfully, a group of men spotted the trapped animal and quickly came to its rescue.
She looks like she's broken her leg already.
The giraffe didn't stand in the way of its own rescue and didn't struggle much either. Yet, as soon as he got the opportunity, he bolted away, likely wanting to avoid another mishap and not wanting to take the guy's kindness for granted. Out of the blue, the homeowner caught a weird squeak echoing from the drain pipe. Listening closely, he realized that there was an animal stuck inside, crying out for help. Without hesitation, he got to work, opening up the drain pipe to save the poor thing. Turns out it was a tiny kitten. No one knows how the stray kitten found its way in there, but it surely found its new home.
Good job! Whew.
Every year, around 2,000 marine animals get stranded, and not all of them are lucky enough to be rescued. However, this baby whale was one of the lucky ones. A group of people spotted it on the shore and stepped in to help. It was a challenging mission, but they managed to get the whale back into the water, and it quickly swam away from the shore to find his mum.
Só mais pouquinho que nós vamos te salvar. Conseguimos! Conseguimos! Ele vai embora!
While sloths can swim, it takes them quite a while. So, when people spotted one in the water, they decided to lend a hand and give it a ride. Just think about how much time and effort the sloths save thanks to this water taxi.
He's waving to you.
He says, oh, okay, this is looking familiar. Now.
You shouldn't feel like a fish out of water. There you go.
Knowing how to administer first aid can come in handy in the most unexpected situations. Take this girl, for example, who managed to save a rabbit's life. She spotted the little creature in the water, and when she pulled it out, she realized the rabbit was in critical condition. Using an indirect heart massage, she managed to bring it back to life. It's clear her training paid off. Now she's got at least one saved life under her belt. When floods hit, stray animals often end up stranded. This dog attempted to flee but found itself in a situation where its only option was to sit tight and hope to be noticed. Luckily, its hopes weren't in vain. A group of volunteers paddling by in a boat happened to be looking for those in need of help. The dog was so scared that it hardly moved, so the volunteer had to make their way to the animal. Once in the boat, the dog was still in shock. It seemed like it couldn't believe that the worst was finally over. What should you do if you come across a tiny, abandoned baby squirrel all alone on the street? This guy did the right thing. He brought the little one home and took care of it until it was healthy. He even introduced the squirrel to his cat, who welcomed the new addition to the family with open paws. That poor squirrel, all alone on the road, could never have imagined such an act of kindness would come its way. The poor bird was so exhausted from the heat that it could only lie down and gasp desperately for air. Luckily, a kind soul came along and couldn't bear to see the bird suffering. He gave the bird some water and helped it recover. He stayed until he was certain the sparrow was all right. It's amazing how a few moments of care and compassion probably made all the difference, ultimately saving the bird's life. The baby elephant probably didn't expect to get into trouble when it decided to take a stroll through the mud. It tried to get out on its own, but ended up sinking even deeper. That's when the national park staff had to step in for a rescue mission. Luckily, it was a success, and the little one could go off to find its herd. During a strong storm and flooding, it might seem like people would only care about their own safety. But when they saw this scene, people realized they needed to help out. One of the men didn't let the weather scare him off. He jumped into the strong current to rescue a dog. By the way, that dog hit the jackpot. Not just getting saved from the disaster, but also finding a home. I bet the guy had no idea at that time that he was saving his future pet's life. A mum and her son were grabbing a bite when they suddenly spotted a stray dog scavenging for scraps on the street. The boy felt really sorry for the animal and got teary-eyed, deciding to help the poor pup out. He stepped outside and shared his food with the homeless dog. Major props to this little guy with a huge heart, and of course to his parents. At first glance, this looks quite funny, but the animal was clearly terrified. A raccoon tried to climb into the attic through a hole in the roof, but got stuck because the opening was too small. The homeowners called wildlife officers to rescue the animal. It will take some time, but the raccoon will eventually understand that humans were trying to help. This cute porcupine goes by the name Alfred, and he often visits this girl's place. One day she felt sorry for the little guy and decided to feed him. Since then, the porcupine keeps coming back to the porch, knowing there's a meal waiting for him. Alfred doesn't hesitate to visit because the girl has never left him hungry. The female polar bear had gone without food for a long time and was completely exhausted when she finally decided to venture into the city towards people. The locals could tell right away from the bear's appearance that she needed help. Soon, the wildlife conservation team took the animal to the Flora and Fauna Park. Just look at how much this majestic predator's life has changed. Can you recognize the exhausted animal from the photos? I bet she's already forgotten those lonely days scavenging for food in the dumps. And it's all because she put her trust in people, and it worked out. Short story about a scared hamster from the streets turning into a beloved pet. It's hard to imagine how much pain and fear this poor creature must have felt, but luckily a kind woman came to the rescue right away. Within moments, the kangaroo was gratefully hopping around its rescuer. This woman must have done something truly remarkable, maybe even saving his life. That's the only reason such a dangerous animal would show her so much affection. As she strolled along the beach, the girl spotted a crab struggling to find an empty shell in the water. Wanting to help out, she stepped in and eventually found the perfect new home for it. In a situation like this, most people would have simply walked by, hoping the bird would manage on its own. But this time was different. The girl couldn't ignore the call for help and pulled out the chick.
It's okay. We're gonna go up. There. Oh my goodness. Oh, baby.
The tiny tiny bird quickly understood it was out of harm's way and even relaxed in the girl's hands.
I tried to give him some water and I couldn't get him to drink it, so if anybody has any advice, please let me know. I don't know what to do.
Every once in a while, sailors end up doing things they didn't quite expect, like rescuing a cat that accidentally fell into the water from the dock. It took a team of 3 and even a bunch of cheering spectators to make it happen. The cat had no idea how many people were thrilled to see it rescued. Even a large and fearsome animal can remain calm when it feels cared for. There was this guy who used to come to the landfill often to feed the stray animals. One time, as he was there, he spotted a seagull that was trapped. As he got closer, he noticed a fishing hook stuck in the bird's beak. Without hesitation, he removed the hook, and the seagull seemed grateful for the help. It was lucky this kind-hearted soul was around. Trusting a creature much larger than yourself isn't easy, but it looks like the baby squirrel felt that it had stumbled upon very kind people. And it was right. Passers-by gave it water and helped the little animal quench its thirst on a scorching hot day. Not everyone can adopt a stray animal, but everyone can at least help make sure that they don't starve. For instance, this woman decided to feed stray animals with bread. She's a shining example of compassion and selflessness. Sometimes people don't have to tame wild animals. For example, this girl walked out of the shower and found a tiny raccoon in her house.
He's just domesticated himself.
The little one thought that she was its mum and immediately felt safe with her. An amazing story.
I can't keep you. I can't keep you.
This video alone shows that the girl's family is incredibly kind and has a profound love for animals. A whole herd of African buffaloes got stuck in the mud, unable to free themselves. Some of the animals couldn't even move. Luckily, this happened in a national park, which is routinely patrolled by park rangers. Usually, wild animals wouldn't welcome a meeting with humans, but this time they were truly pleased to get some much-needed help. During a big flood, volunteers were patrolling the area in a boat, looking for anyone who still needed help. In one house, they spotted a puppy trapped inside without a way out. The volunteers had to throw stones at the window to break the glass, and the plan worked. The puppy got out and immediately swam towards the people. I like to think that karma exists. Those guys deserve something good for their amazing life-saving operation. Getting out of that sticky mud would be a challenge even for a human, not to mention a scared animal. Thankfully, some kind-hearted workers with machinery were around and pulled the donkeys out. It only took the men a few minutes, but for the donkeys, it meant everything.
Unzip it, darling. Unzip it.
It's true that animals can sense people with good hearts. A deer accidentally got tangled up in the wires of the fence and it couldn't get itself free. When this guy came to help, the deer got even more scared. It was really hard to rescue the deer because it kept resisting. But the guy didn't give up and eventually managed to free the deer's antlers from the wires. On behalf of the deer, a big thanks for all your kindness and persistence, pal. It may seem like a small and easy thing to do, but holding an umbrella over a stray cat while it eats is actually a really kind gesture.
Hello, everyone. These transportation tests are both insanely awesome and ridiculously expensive. Let's check them out. What do you think are the odds of a car not turning into a pile of scrap metal when it hits an 85-ton locomotive? A crash test in Belgium once again showed that the chances are zero. Still, it looks pretty impressive. Ever wonder what could happen to a car sandwiched between two trucks going 43 kilometers per hour? Here's a takeaway. Always try to avoid being surrounded by a bunch of trucks when you're driving. Do you know what bollards can do? Boom! And the truck turns into scrap metal in mere seconds. These posts can stop any vehicle from getting through, regardless of their size or speed. And watching it is simply amazing. Sending a rocket into space costs hundreds of millions of dollars. However, even the most experienced engineers can make mistakes sometimes. Take, for example, what happened with the NASA spacecraft that was supposed to deliver supplies to the International Space Station due to a random mistake. I bet it's the most expensive fireworks you've ever seen. It took 100 kilos of explosives to make that epic scene possible. And honestly, it looks cooler than a lot of big-budget action movies. I guess if I had to pick a bus for a long trip, it would be the one that can keep going even after a hit like that. Just gotta remember to buckle up. In China, they decided to test the durability of high-speed trains by crashing them head-on at a speed of 76 kilometers per hour. This set a world record. It's the fastest crash test of the kind ever attempted, and the results pleasantly surprised everyone. The train's front end took a beating, but it stayed on track, and the cabin remained undamaged. The Cybertruck from Tesla, which sparked a lot of debate, was highly anticipated, and one of its standout features is its bulletproof construction. Now it's time to see if it lives up to the hype. Let's kick off the experiment with a regular 9mm Glock.
.9mm, 115 grain from a Glock. Looking pretty good.
You see? The Cybertruck held up fine, even when a bullet hit the same spot twice. But what if it's a burst of gunfire?
MP5, it's the same 9mm, 115 grain. It's going a bit faster. We've got only a 4-inch barrel, but an 8. Took 5 rounds, held up pretty well. We had one where we got...
By the way, check out how a regular pickup truck takes the same punishment. Well, after such a costly test, we can now say for sure that the Cybertruck's claim of being bulletproof holds true. Everyone debating which car is more reliable, Volvo or BMW, finally put their arguments to the test. They decide to see what would happen if they dropped the cars from a height, and now all we have to do is sit back and enjoy the show. By the way, let us know in the comments whose side are you on. Did you know that emergency stops aren't just for cars, but also for colossal beasts like military ships? Check out this neat demonstration. It dropped from 30 knots per hour to 0 in just about 2 seconds. Nice work, engineers. You've probably seen in movies how cars effortlessly plow through barriers, escaping from a chase, right? But that's just a movie thing. In reality, these barriers can easily stop a car weighing up to 20 tons. Check out what happens if a truck decides to ram into one. Here are real-life scenes you'd expect from an action movie, testing new tank rounds that can hit multiple targets at once. It's incredible how much power and effectiveness they pack into one explosion, right? Ever wondered what would happen if you dropped a G-Wagon from a height of 300 meters? Well, these guys got really curious and decided to sacrifice a car for this crash test. The outcome was pretty much what you'd expect, but at least now we've seen a flying G-Wagon. Simulating an actual car hitting a pedestrian is a way to remind people of the importance of crossing the street in the right places. The car, driving at 87 kilometers an hour, threw the dummy a whopping 72 meters and ended up with some pretty serious damage. An ambulance requires a sturdy and resilient body more than many other vehicles, so manufacturers often have to conduct tests to ensure its durability. Even a pickup truck couldn't inflict critical damage on the ambulance. Pretty impressive. I wonder if there's anything that can remain even remotely intact after being squeezed between two bulldozers. But this isn't even the funniest way to wreck stuff. Check out the game the drivers came up with to test their precision.
How was that? Oh, did you guys feel that?
You can't just leave nuclear weapons lying around. They need special bunkers to keep them safe from all sorts of attacks. Right now, you're witnessing tests to see how tough these bunkers are against missile hits. Have you ever felt sorry for a car? Well, now's the time. Keep an eye on that one. Oh, ouch! That felt like medieval torture. No wonder they call those beasts monster trucks. Remember that legendary scene? We used to think only James Bond's Aston Martin could pull off such feats. But it turns out Mercedes is right up there too. Not every SpaceX project took off smoothly at first. For instance, Elon Musk and his team spent a lot of time figuring out how to land their rockets back on Earth after sending them into space. And now you're looking at one of their early, unsuccessful attempts. Thankfully, the testing platform functioned in offline mode, meaning that the only thing that took a hit from such a failure was the company's finances. Thanks to the new gear, even chasing down a truck won't take much time. And it's gonna end with a bang. A vacuum tank can explode due to many reasons. One of the main causes being maintenance errors. That's why one manufacturer decided to go ahead and set off a controlled explosion of such a tanker to demonstrate the potential consequences of careless operation. I'll never look at my deodorant spray the same way again.
Nice.
It's pretty clear who's going to win the showdown between a tank and cars. Let's just see how quickly it happens and enjoy the show. When a plane hits a bird at high speed, it can seriously damage the windshield and even lead to a plane crash. That's why engineers run tests to make sure it can withstand such impacts. Check it out. School buses are held to high safety standards for obvious reasons. Every aspect is crucial, from the strength of the body to the effectiveness of seatbelts and the likelihood of tipping over. That's why engineers always strive to improve them and test them in more spectacular and expensive crash tests. Wow, that even sounds expensive, and rightfully so. You're looking at a Bugatti brake caliper. They're the first company in the world to start making these parts with a 3D printer, and here's what their tests look like. Going from 160 kilometers per hour to a dead stop in just 2.5 seconds. Now that's some serious innovation in the automotive world. We're so used to seeing transport tests done with dummies that it seems wild to crash test a lifeboat with people on it. But then again, it's just another proof of how confident the manufacturers are in this rescue tool. And it makes sense, because a lifeboat needs to do its job even in the toughest situations. The Institute of Traffic Accident Investigators doesn't waste any time. They run spectacular crash tests to better understand the reasons behind accidents and their aftermath on the roads. Check out how impressive the process looks. You know why airplanes are one of the safest modes of transportation? Because manufacturers can spend over $13 million on engine crash tests alone. The goal of such tests is to ensure that if there's an explosion, all the blades stay inside instead of piercing through the fuselage or wing of the aircraft. Knowing this makes you feel a bit more at ease about flying, doesn't it? Who needs a car crusher for disposal when you have construction machinery? Crushing with an excavator is just as impressive, if not more so. In Switzerland, researchers conducted a unique experiment to see how crashes at speeds of 120 and 140 kilometers per hour differ in terms of damage. At first glance, there seemed to be hardly any distinctions. But take a look now in slow motion. Now check out what happens at 160 kilometers per hour. This old destroyer has done its duty. It's time to turn it into an artificial reef off the shores of Canada. It took a few powerful blasts to sink this big guy. While you can't exactly call it a crash test, the whole thing looks unbelievably epic and undoubtedly expensive. Remember this video next time you think it's okay to skip buckling up in the back seat, or that nothing bad can happen at just 40 kilometers per hour. That was the most intense tug-of-war you've ever seen. And let's face it, the tractor never stood a chance against the tank. Only something as big as a dump truck could give it a good challenge. Hit the like button if you'd enjoy watching that showdown. The Raptor engine test by SpaceX looks straight out of a sci-fi movie. Airplane crashes don't happen often, but occasionally they happen for the sake of science. NASA and the Federal Aviation Administration joined forces to intentionally drop a 15-ton aircraft to test its strength. These kinds of tests allow for adjustments to the plane's structure, making it more resistant to impact and potentially life-saving in certain scenarios.